Hey you, so on this video, how far can the Queen's Beast series go? I'm going to be going over just my thoughts and opinions of the Queen's Beast series to date and just where I think it can go, any concerns that I may personally have that just crossed my mind, and any positives that I can see in the series in general as a whole. So before I get into this, I'd like to say, if you like what you hear and you haven't done so already, please go ahead and subscribe, and also let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments of anything that you also want to put down regarding the Queen's Beast series, whether it's your own opinions, whether you think it's good or it's not, any potential pitfalls that you can see, or anything that you can take off of what I'm about to mention in this video. So getting into this, it's one of the few modern coin series that are ongoing, that has a lot of popularity. I know a lot of dealers really like them because they can shift a lot out, so it's liked, it's got worldwide appeal, and it's some would say the best that the Royal Mint has had to offer as of late, and it's really doing a lot as I adjust this in the background. So I just wanted to give my thoughts and opinions on it. I will be covering more other series as we move along, so this is technically somewhat of a new series that I'm doing. I know many still have catch-ups to do, but it's just me giving my thoughts on either how far it can go, you know, any pitfalls, how well is it done to date, and so forth. So jumping straight off of it, we've got the Queen's Beast here. So I wouldn't know off the top of my head how many we currently have out, which is a bad thing, but you know, we are where we are, and I think it's done very well so far. A few concerns that I personally have is that, and it always worries me, and it's that, is the Queen's Beast doing as good as it is because of a accidental situations that's happened from the mint that has a lot of people talking on, and that accidental situation I'm referring to is the Griffin and the Lion. You know, when you talk about the Griffin and the Lion, you always need to take into account that the Queen's Beast series is an unlimited coin mintage series, so there's no surprises there. You know, I knew people that didn't want to get into it in the beginning because it was an unlimited mintage coin series. You know, as lovely as the coins designs are, when you're talking an unlimited mintage series straight off the bat, which is a rare stance to take, even from someone like the Royal Mint. This is why I can understand they got caught off guard, is you've got a series that when you can't use mintage, which is a big play for all of the mints out there, regardless of how you look at it. If you want to get a collector's in, slap a limited mintage on it, and then, you know, we're good to go from there. Let's see if it can reach its cap. If you want to be Perth, you know, Kook and Lunarish, you can slap 500,000. You want to be, you know, China Mint, you can slap 1 million on the pandas, but each has a cap. When we're looking at the Queen's Beast series, it does not have a cap, so this is leading on to the point I'm getting to. So with that in mind, you know, the Royal Mint infamously do this on stuff like their standard bullion coins. So you'll have that on the Britannias, your everyday run-of-the-mill Britannias, even though you may get a slight change. On your standard bullion Britannias, it has an unlimited mintage. There's a few other coins that the Royal Mint do that have an unlimited mintage, but straight off the top of my head, I wouldn't know. And this is strange because what we're looking at is a coin series that is technically their best, in my opinion, their cash cow, but it has an unlimited mintage, which is very strange. The Royal Mint has brought out Landmarks of Britain, every type of dragon and everything else, but these coins are capped at 100k. I don't think they've gone below that now. Even if we're looking at some of their most recent releases, time of releasing this, we have the George and the Dragon, the Valiant coin, and even that has a limited mintage when we get to the 1 ounce. And we are even talking coins with other sizes. So getting back to the big issue is, we now have a coin series where the Griffin and the Lion technically have a very low mintage. I've spoke on it before, but I think the only worry I have, and it's not really a worry because it's definitely worked in its favor when I take a step back and look at it, is that we're looking at a coin now, or a series, which has 2 coins, the first 2, mind you, which is fantastic, that are rather hard to obtain. And if you want to get them, you have to pay a premium. Now, that's definitely a talking point for anybody involved in the series. You know, if you want the first 2, I have all up to date, but it's just the first 2 I can't get my hands on currently, and I'm not prepared to pay that price, or I had to bite the bullet and pay that price. These are fantastic talking points for the coin series, but we're talking a coin series with an unlimited mintage moving forward. So as popular as it is, they will mint to demand, and even overproduce, because this is just pumping out so much product now. When we get to more of the exclusive stuff, yes, they've taken that approach also, where they've gone for the double-sided and maybe said, okay, we'll put a limited mintage on these here. But from my experience and from what I've seen, the standard BU do a lot better than the proof to date. You know, there's definitely been higher returns, and it always falls back to the Griffin and the Lion. So the worry I see there is that, are these 2-1 coins really carrying the series? You know, when you look at it, you have to take into account that I love this series. You know, a lot of people even sometimes forget that it's an unlimited mintage because there's so much love for the series, and you know, the designs are great, or you either love them or hate them, but you know, there's more love than hate currently up to date. And then, you know, there comes that point where the first to have really appreciated, what will the rest do, or will they climb up? And then we have the, okay, well, what do I think from there? But that's my only biggest concern. But in the end of the day, I think depending on how you're taking the Queen's B series, that cannot be of no issue. I mean, for me, these are coins I paid a premium for. I've mentioned in the past my stack structure priority, and it's buying these coins to flip. So for me, once I can see a profit, it's time for them to go. Now isn't peak right yet, because as we've seen as of recent, the 2 coins in question have also peaked again, the 2 gold when we're talking the 1 ounce, and even in the silver variant. So got a bit of a summer cold. We still have time, and I still have time, but you know, it's definitely something that's put out there. That is the only concern of mine. I've mentioned I don't see the rest doing as good as the Griffin and the Lion. Why? Because they're readily available. You know, many have got all they want in their fills. Dealers have more than enough of them. The dealers will always pay a premium for what they can't get. Right now, from what I've seen, if I was to sell any of my Queen's Beast coins, even on the proof selections, the ones dealers would pay me a handsome premium for would be the Lion and the Griffin. Outside of that, it would be whatever the current asking price is. I could break even if lucky, depending on which design we're talking about. But other than that, as I mentioned, that's the only slight problem I could see. But is it really a problem if you want to peek out and sell? But then when we look at the other designs, the later on designs, it all once again is going to be what the Royal Mint are intending to do once we reach the end. You know, it's been said, it can't be done again. You know, say the Queen checks out, we need her head on the back of all coinage. I don't think they would stop the war. First of all, let me say, I think they will continue with this series. The series has been constantly tweaked. Even to date, we're still getting, the Royal Mint don't know what they're doing. When we look at the mintage on the quarter ounces, for instance, they are constantly tweaking the mintages on the quarter ounces. You know, it wasn't set. Normal standard procedure, I would have thought, was, you know, when a coin comes out, you set a mintage. I believe this coin here came out on a mintage of 2,500, and we've got down to as low as 1,000 now. So depending on how you look at it, this is something the Royal Mint are infamous for. You're going to have this, if this quarter ounce was being religiously followed, so the quarter ounce in proof, you've technically shut off, well, you know, 2,500 people picked up the Lion. I know they had a next gradual little step down before they went down in the Unicorn, and you're down to 1,000 now. So that's 1,500 people that can no longer get it, that have the Lion. So I don't know the logic in that approach or gameplay. Either one, they didn't fully sell out of the Lion, and they could have really sold, I don't know, give or take 1,200 and then archived the rest of the stock. This is just me pulling out ideas from the top of my head. I think for them to confidently cut the mintage to damn near half, something like that would have had to happen, because I know they allocate a large amount to dealer sales also. So general sales to the public could have easily been around the 1,200 or below. So looking at that for actual sales to the public, they could have said, okay, we're confident we cut the mintage down to 1,000 on releases going forward. I mean, taking it lower, I know the Griffin at this stage, as a lot of people have asked me, seems to be released last. I don't know why, once again, because that wasn't the order when they brought them out in the bullion. We could be looking at a mintage of 500 on the proof, so that would be from the silver proof to the quarter ounce gold and the like of. I'm referring to the mintages on the quarter ounce gold here. We could be looking at a mintage of 500. That's going to make it a lot rarer and a lot more in demand, but what does it do for those that are really collecting them? So either they're not being collected as aggressively as some would think, or only the Royal Mint know what they're up to, and I'm just going to chalk it up to that. But either or, Will they continue the series? I believe they will. I believe that's not going to stop them. They have a real big hit on their hands here with the Queen's Beast. I think if they were to take the drastic action of not continuing the series, then this series, Queen's Beast 1, could go on to be absolutely epic. Even with the unlimited mintage, all coins would go on to appreciate. Now, I look at it like this. What do we all want, the buyers and the cowboys? That's what we would love that. You know, would the mint love that? If they had produced and overproduced, because you can get these in many variants right now, and said, okay guys, that's it, chalk's done. Queen's Beast is over, we've released all 10 animals, on to the next. You know, that would be fantastic. The coins would definitely, even the later coins would definitely start appreciating, but I can't see them doing that. You know, King's Beast has been mentioned out there. Wouldn't surprise me they do the exact same thing, but slap who had the next monarch or, you know, head in charge on the back of the coins and take it from there. We don't know. The only time I have had a Royal Mint Bullion rep on the phone, and it asked them, that was the one question I needed an answer for. Are you going to continue the series? I'd asked about the mintages and how they came about it. Was told it was just, they was getting a feel of things. They didn't have everything set in stone for what they was doing at the time. And whether they was going to continue it once finished was also a question that couldn't be answered. So no one knows at the moment, but I'm sure in the background they really do know. But I think, you know, that a continuation, so a Queen's Beast Series 2 and the likes of, not forgetting it's an unlimited mintage coin, will definitely have a negative effect on the current value. So, and they won't get caught with their pants down again. So don't expect a low mintage on the next run on the Lion and the Griffin and the likes of. So you could hold this, but then again, the first two I've just mentioned, the Lion Griffin, can really propel the current series. It can carry the entire series and give it added value as long as you have those two in your collection, depending on, you know, what variant you have. I'm talking about silver 2-ounce bullion here, but who knows? Who does know? Royal Mint knows, but they're not talking. But I can see the pluses being what I've just mentioned there, and also a big plus is their release schedule that I can see it propelling it and helping it grow at a faster rate also. A lot of other popular series, if we're looking at them, would be something like the Lunar series, the pick one, you know, from any mint. When we're looking at a Lunar series, we're looking at normally a schedule of 12 years. I think now, especially in today's world where so much happens so fast, that's way too long. You know, no one wants to be waiting that long. I know the East India Company releases their coins like every other month, I think on a 4-month schedule. So that's even sooner than the Queen's Beast. So they want them done like under 2 years. But I think 12 years, a lot can happen within that time frame. That's a decade and a bit. So much can happen. You know, just getting onto a series that I definitely will get onto another date, like the Perth Mint Lunar series. Within the space of 12 years, they went from a blazing hot series, you know, the best thing since sliced bread, to lukewarm, to nah, you know, it's because the new kid on the block popped up, and trends, people, cryptos, a lot of things happen within that time frame. So just having a coin series where you can have it complete in 2 to 3 years and you've got like 10 plus coins is fantastic. And that's a big plus that I see for the Queen's Beast series, and that they're really knocking them out. Some have said it's because, you know, the Queen could be checking out at any point, so they just want to get that done and addressed as soon as possible. So who knows? I've got a recent pickup here from a friend, an associate, and it's one of these, as you can see, the 5-ounce proofs. This is definitely a size I wasn't picking up with the Queen's Beast, and you know, I only did purchase this off him because it came at a fantastic price, around £180, $220 odd. Now on these 5-ounce proofs, I believe there's around £420 at time of release. I don't know, give or take $600 plus. So, you know, picking this up, it was a fantastic buy. Definitely in the NGC slab. So that's the first on my channel. Don't hate them, but you know, I don't buy nothing slabbed. So a good example when you can get something slabbed at a, you know, under spot price is the only reason why I currently own this here. So just getting into this, so this is also a lineup that they've done, a lineup too far, I believe. You know, they didn't even bring out the 5-ounce in bullion. So this is the 5-ounce proof. Been asked in the past about why Blue Tack will cover up the serial number and the likes of. It was said just for fraud prevention. That is one cause, but I highly doubt someone's going to go through, well, you never know these days, but the whole process of trying to forge this big piece here that's extremely reflective. But ultimately, I do a lot of trading and, you know, branching out with guys that have eBay stores, whether they're bullion stores or not. And for some of my coins in the past that I've had friends sell for me and associates, people have inquired whether the coins belong to me. What that had to do with anything, I don't know. So just to keep business and pleasure separate, I do that. So, you know, it's just one of the main reasons why I cover up the serial numbers these days, on top of it could be fraudulent, but that's one of the main reasons, you know, just keeping business and pleasure. Even with a lot of the coin sets that ain't slabbed up or nothing, I just withheld the COA number now. I personally can't take on too much when it comes to reselling unless it's to a dealer, because I can't commit to it 100%. So those that have eBay stores and the likes of could do a much better job than myself. So that's one of the reasons, you know, keeping business and pleasure separate. So I think ultimately, you know, how far can the Queen's B series go? Taking all of what I've said into account, I think it has a very promising future, even if it was to find itself with a Queen's Beast 2 or Queen's Beast 3. Ultimately, my concern, which was the 2-ounce silver Griffin and Lion being on such a low mintage, maybe not even being on a low mintage, but have found happy homes, as they was two very strong designs when they first came out, and the mint wasn't able to really overproduce and pump. And I got a heads up early from a dealer that the Lion was going to be massive because they couldn't get no more, and this was a very large dealer in Germany that I dealt with. So I knew it was definitely something that I should be sinking my teeth into. So I think if they was to bring out a Series 2 and a Series 3 and go on forever and ever, King's Beast, whatever, I always think that the Queen's Beast series number 1, the one we're currently on, the time of releasing this video, will always be of value, especially when we're talking the silver bullion, because I think the only two coins that, you know, someone on a unlimited mintage series has the privilege of saying, like, the first two are very hard to obtain and are very pricey, and that shouldn't be the case. If you remember, they're an unlimited mintage coin. Yes, interest could have been very low, people could have been sleeping, but that wasn't the case. When these first came out, everybody loved them. Nobody was umming and gumming, and, you know, there was no second guesses. It was a stunning coin. Everybody loved what they'd done. They loved the design, so everybody jumped on it. I just think at the time, because they had to rush out the Griffin, a lot of people didn't get their chances to really, you know, catch up to them. And as it built more popularity, either on forums or YouTube, and more people began unboxing, by the time they thought, okay, I'm definitely going to go in for them, dealers had already increased the price on the Lion. And then we saw that on the Griffin. And then once it became official, like, okay, prices have steadily increased, then you had a lot more demand coming in. I saw that myself just from not being able to get the first two. But we haven't seen that on the rest, and I've mentioned this before, but I do think they will trail up, most definitely. But it's going to be very interesting to see how and whether it holds, because not forgetting, I know dealers that can still technically get the dragons, and, you know, I've seen them up in sale because dealers had so many. And don't think dealers didn't double down on these coins once they saw the popularity and once they saw the situation with the Lion and the Griffin. You always remember, dealers are going to be the ones ultimately gaining once they see firsthand that something's in limited quantity and they know people are going to love them. They know they'll just jump onto the next release that they'll have in abundance, and that's going to be the Dragon, Unicorn, and the Bull, and the likes of, moving up from there. So I think, where can the Queen's B series go? Or how far can it go? I think this current Queen's B series number 1 can go very far. Going off of the sizes I've got in front of me, if I was going to give a rundown, well, I've got a bit of drilling noise in the background. The 1/4 ounce BU proof, as old 1/4 ounce I'm holding here, I think have some potential, but not as much as they would have had if they would have kept the original plan, and that was having these rather scarce. So these are good, but I wouldn't be paying over premium for them. When we're talking the silver 2-ounce bullion coins, I think these have the most potential. So, you know, getting them at time of release is always going to be your best bet, and then just waiting and seeing how well it plays out. When we're talking the 1/4 ounce proofs, we still have to see, but they're, with the mintage, them having a limited mintage, I think in the long run can definitely personally be a positive. Once again, everything I'm saying is my own thoughts and opinions, guys. I would love to hear yours if they are, you know, right along or similar, or you disagree. Please let me know in the comments. I think definitely it's the size to have. They don't go no lower, to the best of my knowledge. When we're talking coins with a mintage, on the proofs they have a mintage, so I think these have definite potential, you know. And the fact that they've decided to lower the mintage on all, that's from the 1 ounce to the 1/4 ounce and all of them, I think most definitely are looking good when we're looking at the 1/4 ounce proofs. They do have 1 ounce proofs, but I don't have them here, so I won't really speak on them. When we're talking the 1 ounce gold, as we've all seen, they seem to be doing fantastic right now. I know even with the, I believe it was the Dragon, on the gold, the Lion's doing fantastic, the Griffin's doing fantastic, and I believe it's the Dragon that came out next also has increased in price. So the gold is running on a different mintage scheme, similar, but you know, whether all gold may be where the money is at, I'm not currently sure right now. I need to do a bit more dibbing and dabbing, but definitely the 1 ounce gold is doing fantastic when we're looking at the BU now speaking. And then when we got onto the larger sizes, more exclusive sizes I think was, you know, targeted more to the US audience. Personally, I don't see these doing fantastic. I know a lot of them went to dealers out in the US, and that's why we got them in these slabbed pieces and first 100 and likes of. The fact that I was able to purchase off an associate for such a reduced price speaks volumes to me. These were good. I know that they had some quality control issues on these larger pieces, and I think they even do a 10 ounce proof. Personally, I wouldn't be putting my money into these. You'd stand a much better bet on the lower sizes in silver, or going for smaller sizes in gold proof, or you know, the Big Daddy. But you know, nevertheless, you get to see the image in all its full glory, if I can show that off without showing off too much. And they are very nice to have. If you can get them at a reduced price as I did, then it's the best of all worlds. But they're not at the top of my list. I'll definitely put them down at the bottom. But as you can see, there's a massive variety of them out there, and I still think even with so much variety, they still have a lot to offer. So I'm going to wrap this one up, guys. It would be fantastic to know how far you think the Queen's Beast series can go. Ultimately, I think it can go very far, and it has a very, you know, bright future ahead of it. And I think currently Queen's Beast 1, whether they bring out 2 or 3, is definitely where the money's at. So, you know, if you haven't got into them, definitely do go ahead and get into them. And if you are, let me know if you've done a bit of trading, what's been the best for you. So, hate or love it, guys. It'll be fantastic to know your thoughts and opinions on this video, and even on the series in question. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the rebound.